Have you ever felt like you're absolutely drowning in information, but you're just starved for actual wisdom? Yeah, it's a feeling a lot of us have these days. Today, we're going to take a look at a firm that's basically built from the ground up to cut through all that noise and find the signal. Okay, let's dive right in.
This one sentence really just captures the entire idea we're exploring. It sets up this fundamental conflict, right? On one side, you have this manufactured complexity that's used to keep control, and on the other, you have the incredible power that comes from real, simple understanding. This is the guiding principle behind AquaVis, and that's a name you're definitely going to want to remember.
So let's start with the problem itself. Do you ever just feel totally overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information hitting you every single day? All that noise, that feeling that things are just getting way too complex to even understand? Well, you're not alone. And what if I told you that a lot of that confusion is actually by design? Now, here's what's really fascinating. This isn't just random chaos we're seeing. It's actually part of a much larger historical pattern. Some people call it a fourth turning, this recurring period of crisis where old systems start to break down. And yeah, that creates a ton of turbulence, for sure. But for those who are actually prepared for it, it also creates massive, massive opportunities.
And that right there brings us to the solution. How do you possibly navigate all this turbulence? Well, you don't fight it. You simplify. You get back to basics and understand the foundational truths. And this is the core mission of AquaVis, to simplify everything in order to empower you.
Let's just break down the name itself, because it's so key to their entire philosophy. It's pronounced AquaVis. It comes from the Latin for the natural force or power of water. And just think about that for a second. Water is incredibly powerful, but it's also adaptable. It carves canyons through solid rock, but it also just flows around tiny obstacles. That right there is the central metaphor for their entire approach.
So their mission is so refreshingly direct. It's not about giving you hot stock tips or, telling you what you should think. It's all about sharpening your own perception, helping you see the system from the ground up, starting with its most basic, essential building blocks.
And this is the why behind it all. The end game isn't just knowledge for the sake of knowledge. No, it's to fundamentally shift the balance of power. By replacing all that confusion with crystal clarity, you can actually reclaim your ability to think for yourself and ultimately make better decisions for your own future.
Okay, so how do they actually do this? How do they cut through all that noise we talked about? Well, their unique method is inspired by the oldest and, frankly, the most successful designer in the history of the world, nature itself. And this powerful approach has a name. It's called biomimicry.
And look, this isn't just some vague, feel-good inspiration. AquaVis uses nature as a practical guide. They combine its time-tested principles with knowledge from all sorts of different fields, history, technology, you name it. And they apply a first principles approach, which really just means breaking everything down to its most fundamental truths, the things you know for absolute sure.
And here are just a few of those core principles they pull from natural systems. I mean, think about it. Nature is inherently simple, and it's unbelievably efficient. It uses fractal patterns that repeat at every single scale. It's always trying to find balance. And maybe most important of all, it's resilient and it's adaptable. Now just imagine applying that kind of thinking to your investments or to your life. That's a really powerful idea.
All right, now we get to the what. So with those nature-inspired principles in mind, AquaVis built a very specific framework to analyze the world, and they call it the pillars of power. So here's the crucial point. This framework isn't just some modern idea they cooked up. It actually comes from studying deep history and recognizing patterns. What they found was that no matter what era you look at, from the Roman Empire to the British Empire and beyond, geostrategic power has always consistently rested on three core pillars.
And here they are. First, you need an asymmetric advantage in technology. Second, you need access to low-cost and abundant energy to power everything. And third, you need a fully controlled system of money to finance it all. And here's the real key. These three pillars reinforce each other. Strength in one feeds directly into the others. And whoever leads in all three, well, they control the world order.
Okay, so understanding the pillars is one thing, but how do you actually use that knowledge? To put this whole framework into action, AquaVis created two distinct strategies for analyzing and investing in this system. On one hand, you have Cascade. This strategy is all about following the money, tracking the flow of liquidity, which is kind of like the lifeblood of the entire financial system. Then, on the other hand, you have Confluence. This one takes a much broader view, analyzing that intricate dance between all three pillars at once: technology, energy, and money. Okay, so let's bring this all back home. We've talked about the problem, this manufactured chaos. And we have the solution, a framework inspired by nature. But what does this actually mean for you? How does this help you navigate the world? Well, this gets us to the real, tangible value of finding a clear signal in all of that noise.
I absolutely love this metaphor. AquaVis sees themselves as your river guide. Just imagine the global system is this big, turbulent river. Now, a good guide doesn't control the river, of course, but they know its currents, they know where the hidden rocks are, and they know the fastest channels. They're there to help you navigate it all, safely and effectively.
And here it is, the direct, real-world benefit of that guidance. It all comes down to saving you your most valuable resources. Your time by filtering out all the junk. Your energy by giving you clarity. And ultimately, helping you compound your money, which is really just stored time and energy when you think about it. And all of this leads to one critical thing: the power to make better, more informed decisions.
So, we'll end with the question that really started this whole thing. A question for you to think about. As the world keeps accelerating, as the noise gets louder and the systems feel more and more complex, finding your signal isn't just a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. So the real question isn't if you need a signal, but how are you going to find yours?